Hey, what up, guys? Coming to you today doing another What's Next. This one is going to be on Javier Fortuna, former junior lightweight champion at 130 pounds. He's currently my number 7 lightweight in the world at 135 pounds. And we're going to discuss what he's got going on next. Well, Fortuna was lined up. He hasn't fought since November when he TKO'd Jesus Cuellar, former champ. He was lined up for a mandatory vacant title fight against Luke Campbell for the WBC title. They were going to fight in April. This month they were going to fight, but the coronavirus pandemic canceled the fight. Well, while that was going on, that was still supposed to be who he was supposed to fight next. And it still may be, but right now, Monkey Wrench has been thrown into the situation as champion in recess. Undefeated Devin Haney has been reinstated as full champion. See, what was supposed to happen with Devin Haney is he was supposed to face Fortuna originally, and he was injured. So the WBC named him champion in recess and said that when he is healthy enough to return, he can come back and fight whoever the new champion is. So in the meantime and during the pandemic, he got healthy, and now he's ready to go. And so he asked, and the title match hasn't happened between Campbell and Fortuna. So, and it's not even scheduled now because of the pandemic. So he just last week asked WBC to reinstate him as world champion, and they did like a day or two later. So he is again the WBC world champion. So what does that mean for Fortuna? Well, Fortuna, luckily for him, he's the number 1 contender, where Campbell is the number 2 contender. So I think there's a couple options that could happen here. I think Fortuna could face Devin Haney next in the original plans. Or I think what they could do, since Fortuna and Campbell already had terms agreed to and were supposed to fight, I think they could have Fortuna and Campbell fight to determine the true mandatory and let Haney make an optional defense against somebody else. So, especially with him coming back from injury. So one way or the other, I think Fortuna is either gonna be in line for the world title, but he might not get the title fight if he's got to go through Campbell in a contenders match. So we'll see how that all plays out. I'm waiting on the news from that. But while we're waiting, let's take a look. Let's run through the top 10 and see what could be next for former 130-pound champ Javier Fortuna. We start with number 1, Vasily Lomachenko. No way this fight happens, or he'd have an opportunity. Lomachenko is going to fight Teofimo Lopez next. Number 2 is Teofimo Lopez. No way this fight happens next. He's in line to unify with Lomachenko. Number 3 is Jorge Linares. I don't see Fortuna and Linares, even though they're both highly rated in the WBC. I don't see them facing off, or a chance of this happening, this year or anytime in the future. Number 4 is Luke Campbell. I still believe one way or the other he's going to fight Campbell, or he could. That to me, I think that's probably the favorite. It's like a 50-50. He's either going to face Campbell or Haney. But yeah, I still believe one of those two options is going to happen. So very, very possible he faces Campbell. Number 5, undefeated Gervonta Davis. If for some reason I think this fight's possible because they're both with the PBC. If for some reason the Luke Campbell fight falls through, or they make Fortuna face Campbell in a mandatory title fight instead of in a contenders bout instead of facing Devin Haney next for the title, and Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz don't lock horns, I think there's a good chance that Fortuna could get the shot at Davis, since he's a top 10 kind of guy, and Davis is the WBA regular champ, and they're both promoted by the same people. I think that's possible. So keep that in mind. That's on the back burner. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think it's possible that it could. Number 6 is former IBF champion Richard Comey. Not seeing this one. He's not really in line right now in this fight. No chance of this one. Number 7 is Fortuna. Number 8 is Ivan Mendy, French contender. I don't see Fortuna having to face Mendy, so I don't see that happening next. Number 9 is Lee Selby, former featherweight champ. Not going to happen. He's in line for another world title. And then number 10 is veteran Ricky Burns. The only way I see this one happening is if Fortuna gets left out in the cold, and I don't see Fortuna getting left out in the cold in this situation because he's the number 1 contender. So what do I think is going to happen next for Javier Fortuna? I really think it's 50-50 right now. I'm leaning more towards the fact that I think that WBC could have him face Devin Haney, but that's very slight. I think it's really right along 50-50. Either they're going to let him face Devin Haney for the title, or he's going to face Campbell because that fight was already put online, and maybe that'd be an interim title fight while Haney faces makes an optional defense. So it's really kind of up in there. I'm waiting to see what happens, but hopefully we hear something soon on what they're gonna have Javier Fortuna do. All right, guys, that's the what's next on former 130-pound champ Javier Fortuna, my number 7 lightweight in the world. Hope you enjoyed it. True boxing. You've been hit with the truth.